regrets, and basically to remind everyone that we should have no regrets. Life is a very funny thing. In life, we make mistakes. But when we make mistakes, the key to a mistake is learning from it, understanding that mistakes are lessons that guide us along our journey in life. And the key to being able to get the lesson out of the mistake is having no regrets. Sometimes people, what I've found in talking to tons of people and working with different people at different levels of success, I find that some people are actually immobilized by regret. They think about all of the things that they could have done differently or that they did in a way that now looking back in hindsight, they don't feel like they made the best decision. I would challenge that position. And I would say, if you just think back in life, every time you had a decision to make, am I going to send my child here or here? You didn't look and say, okay, this place would be good and this place is kind of rotten. I'm going to send them to the rotten place. As a general rule, most people are looking at a clean glass of water and a cloudy glass of water, and they always try to choose the clear glass of water. However, we are in a culture right now that is a culture of adverse reflection. Adverse reflection is a concept where people actually look back and peruse through your history to find the places where you may have made a mistake. The problem with that thought is it does not make sense because life is a process of learning. And as we're learning, we're moving forward. But in the moving forward, there are going to be some stumbles, there are going to be some mistakes. It is impossible for anyone that says they were able to achieve success without mistakes being made. That person is a liar. It's not possible. We all make mistakes. Actually, I was having a conversation with one of my sons because I had said something that was really kind of, once I said it, it just didn't make sense. And it was a lighthearted statement that I was making, but once I actually uttered it and said it, I was like, that made no sense. Why did you say that? And I was thinking, and we were talking about it, and I said, wow, life is really a trip. And he said, why? And I said, it's a trip because in your head, what you think you're about to say sounds like it makes sense until you utter the words and it just makes no sense. Like that, why did I say that? So the point that I'm making is in life, it's not like we just go around choosing to make mistakes, but mistakes are going to be made. And the one thing that we cannot do is live in a position of regret where we're regretting what we said wrong or what we did wrong or the lapse of judgment or the error that we made here. Listen, acknowledge it, own it, that's key. You have to acknowledge it and own it and then keep it moving. If an apology is necessary, there's someone you need to apologize to, just apologize. That's that's perfect. That's wonderful. It shows that you're human and that you've got compassion when you apologize because it actually takes a very strong person to apologize. The majority of people, even if you think about being in a store, you're in a grocery store or you're pushing a cart in a department store or at Costco or one of the big box stores, and you're in your cart and a person just bumps the back of your heel with their cart. We're in an age where very few people actually take the time to say, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry about that. Pardon me. No, no. People look at you, they run that cart right into you and they look at you like you shouldn't have been in the way and somehow it was your fault. Something's wrong with the way a lot of people are being cultured. However, you get that apology in so that you can have that out of your heart because you didn't run into the person on purpose. However, we cannot live with regret. Regret is the root of regret, the core of it is worse than remorse. It's like this feeling of self loathing almost because you're regretting something that you did. It's sometimes I believe it can even be being too tough on yourself. I'm going to encourage you to be free, walk in peace, and just know that you're human, and humans do error. And if you've made an error, own it and keep it moving because the future is waiting for you. But it's very hard to step into your future if we're caught in the past dealing with regret and begrudging decisions that we may have made or didn't make. It's like the choice: am I going to go to college or not go to college? Am I going to go back to get my master's or not get my master's? Am I going to marry or stay single? Am I going to, whatever the choice was that was made, do not allow the reflection on the outcome after the choice. Don't allow that to create bondage because that's not good for the future. And remember, if we're too hard on ourselves right now, how do you develop the momentum to make the changes for the future? I find that people that live in regret are more downtrodden. They're more solemn. They're not positive and not encouraged about the future because they're regretting the past. There was a movie, and I know everyone here is waiting for me to quote a movie that's some deep philosophical, very profound literary work that's been converted to television. And I hate to tell you, I'm going to just keep it a little simpler than that. And I'm going to remind us of a lesson that we learned in The Lion King. You know exactly, Akuna Matata. Do you remember that? Akuna Matata. Akuna Matata. It's a worry-free philosophy, Akuna Matata. And really, if you think about that, there was a lot of brilliance in that movie because if Simba had not got over the past where in his mind he was accusing himself of causing his father's death, and so it was plaguing him so much so that when his uncle Scar forced him to leave the Pride Land and to run and hide forever as an outcast and never to come back, man, he was living a rough life until he met the warthog and that other creature. I can't remember what he was. He wasn't an aardvark. I don't know what that thing was. Um, those things that stand up. I know what it is, but I just can't think of the name of it. My sons would know what this is. I don't know what that thing is, but anyway, Akuna Matata. I'm not even going to be regretting that I don't know the name of that thing, even though I know what it is, because they run together in groups and they like to stand up, but can't remember what it is. But when he met that warthog and had an opportunity to learn that concept, Hakuna Matata, everything seemed to change because all of a sudden he was no longer living in regret, but he was able to embrace who he was and he was able to recognize that there was greatness and potential inside of him. And what's amazing, all of that was in a cartoon. We sometimes need to embrace the concept of Hakuna Matata and literally let it go. If there is something that's been weighing you down about your past, something that uh, a mistake that you made, or if it's uh, an uh, an opportunity that you missed, or something that you didn't do, let that go. Learn from that. And in the future, the next time an opportunity presents itself, you'll seize the day. But for now, we have to let that go. And we actually have to begin to dream again. And the reason that that's important, one of the ways to eliminate chronic regrets is to start dreaming about the future. If you remember being young, uh, even early teenage years, dreaming was a big deal, especially at that age where we took a lot of time to think about the future and what the future could be like. We were dreaming. We were imagining what our future could be if this, this, and this happened. I believe we need to dream again. Dreaming is healthy. I would actually encourage an exercise, and this is really simple, easy to do, extremely profound. There is a concept called a dream board or a dream book. And I never had a dream board, but what I would do, I would cut out pictures. Even when I first got married, LaDonna and I had nothing, and we would cut pictures out of things that we desire to have in the future, like a nicer home or a better car or something for the kids, and we would tape it to the refrigerator. I didn't understand the power of what we were doing when we were doing it. But now looking back, I know it was powerful because it was something about seeing an image on the refrigerator of something that we wanted. And it was just powerful, almost like an automaton. We began to walk toward that very thing that we were in search of. It seemed like everything took us in the direction of the vision that we held before us. So the dream board or your refrigerator door can actually serve as a dream board, a guide for your future activity. I'll tell you another thing that we would do. If we wanted if we were trying to work on an objective, if we were trying to achieve a goal, there was something that we had to do. We made it a family project. And what we would do is we would actually cut the picture out of something like a trip to Disney World, something that we could do with the boys, and we would tape that onto the refrigerator so that the kids could see that when mom and dad achieve this, this is what we're going to enjoy together. Another thing that we did, we created a dream book. And in the dream book, we basically took a photo album with the sticky sheets. And what we would do, we would drive around and visit beautiful homes in beautiful neighborhoods where they were building new homes. And we did this consistently every single weekend. We would drive to these homes, we would walk through the homes, and we would do two things. Number one, we would go into the home, of course, speak to the sales rep sitting in the home, and then we would go to the garage of the home, and I would stand outside of the garage. LaDonna would go to the sink in the kitchen, and then I would not knock on the door. I would open the door and say, "Honey, I'm home." And the reason I did that is because although we didn't have the beautiful home, from what I had seen on television in different places, when a family was able to live in a beautiful home in a beautiful neighborhood, the father of the home would be working and he would come home through the garage. And when he opened the door, he would say, "Honey, I'm home." So we began to, without even thinking about it or consciously discussing it, we just would role play as we were in these homes. And it's so incredible the way life would have the future to be. Because one of the other things we would do, we would get the brochure from the home, and we would cut the pictures of the home out, various pictures, and put them in our dream book. And we did that in conjunction with pictures of ourselves. So we had our own pictures along with pictures from these beautiful homes because we were believing for the future. The powerful thing about the mind, your mind actually, and this has been written by some of the great theorists. It's talked about in the book Think and Grow Rich by Tony Robbins, which we actually recommended as one of the books that you should have in your library. This whole concept, it actually releases, they say it causes your neurotransmitters in your brain to actually start guiding you. It almost like sends the antenna signals up so that you can gravitate toward whatever it is that you're looking at in your dream book. But I believe that according to the book of truth, it says to write the vision and make it plain that those that read may run thereby. And it's something about the dream book that it actually gives purpose to your faith, gives purpose to your dreams. Having this dream book, you can see it's almost like seeing the manifestation, seeing the dream actually fulfilled. So I would encourage you to do that. Get a dream book, make that, and make that a project for the two of you to come up with something that meets everyone's need in that dream book. And the dream book was simply a photo album with the sticky sheets. So you lift the sheet up, you could put the picture there and then close it, and you have it. Or if you're on it, well, I'll tell you where you can find that on Amazon. You can get the magnetic sheets, is what they call them, for it's a photo album with the magnetic sheets. Um, I am probably not going to remember the name of that little animal. It's not a gerbil. I don't know what that thing is. If you remember what that animal is called, uh, please, from The Lion King, I would really appreciate that. I'm going to know this evening, but I'd like to know that you were also stuck trying to figure it out too. Finally, I want to ask you to do one more thing, and that is to initiate a fast. I believe that if the future is going to be everything that it could be for you, it is going to require sacrifice. So we almost have to condition ourselves to participate in sacrifice, to actually be willing to sacrifice things. Because in order to achieve what's going to be necessary to take care of you in the future, it's going to be necessary that we make some sacrifices right now. That may mean we're unable to go golfing 3 times a week and we can only go once, or it may mean that we are unable to spend time, binge watching television shows. There's going to be, a price that has to be paid for achievement. And in transformation, in order for transformation to actually be effective, guess what? We're gonna have to sacrifice something. And I'm gonna challenge you with a thought to figure out what are you willing to sacrifice? Another way to put that question is how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to change? How bad do you want to transform? Right now, we're in a world where the majority of people, I don't know why, they uh, aren't really in pursuit of success. So I would submit that resistance to your success is very limited. There's not a lot of resistance because there are not a lot of people running in that direction. And I believe that that is why you were able to tune into this podcast, because there is something very special that you're meant to do. And in order to do that, you're going to have to change and transform. You're going to forgive yourself of previous mistakes, errors, lapses in judgment, live with no regrets, and you're going to start dreaming again, just like a child. It's something about childlike faith that is miraculous. It moves mountains. And just believing that you can have what you say will make you say what you want to have. And it's something powerful about your mind hearing your mouth. When your mind hears your mind gets in line and the antennas go up, and you're able to lock into moments that change everything. Today alone, I witnessed so many miracles in my life, doors that were open that are virtually impossible, incredible, incredible breakthroughs. And I'm not the only one. This is your season, and it can happen for you. There's destiny and purpose in your life, and there are people whose lives will be changed only once you step into becoming everything that you've been called to be. I want to thank you for being on this journey with me. And I want to let you know that literally the sky is not even the limit. Whatever it is that you're dreaming of can be achieved, and we will celebrate together. I'll take this moment to quickly thank our sponsor, Care Michigan. Care Michigan is a medical case management and care coordination company located in the state of Michigan, in the city of Troy. And they specialize in working with individuals that have been severely injured in motor vehicle accidents. So if you or anyone you know has been severely injured in a motor vehicle accident, will you please call Care Michigan and let them know that you heard about them on the No Time to Waste podcast? Thank you so much. Now let's go and seize the day.